everybody, Backyard Bullion here. What price point of silver and gold would make you happy? Is it $100 an ounce silver, $1,000 an ounce silver, and for gold is it $5,000 an ounce gold or $10,000 plus an ounce? Now there are a lot of people out there who really want to see those price points. Nay, they expect those price points at some point in the future. But today we're going to be talking about how there are also a lot of people, myself included, who would be pretty disheartened and unhappy if silver and gold were to get to those price points. So we're going to talk about what makes stackers happy and how there are a lot of people out there who want and expect these large price points of silver, but also moan and are unhappy about the rising prices of silver and gold as we go along various years. So there's a lot of really interesting things to talk about here today. I hope there's something for everybody. I'm going to relay some of my thoughts and opinions on this subject as it relates to me and my situation. It's really important you remember that. This video is not financial advice. It's just a collection of my musings. Now, if you would like to share your thoughts and opinions on what price points of silver and gold would make you happiest, then please do feel free to comment down below. All that we ask is that you be respectful of mine and other people's opinions, and hopefully we'll have a good, fun discussion down in the comment section, and I'll be down there replying to all of your comments as best as I can. Now, the whole question of what makes you happy when it comes to silver and gold prices is a really interesting one. And I've observed over this last couple of years of making videos here on YouTube, from the comments section and from seeing other people's channels and videos and commentaries on this type of subject, that there are a number of different categories of silver buyers and stackers and investors, and each of them will be happy at different price points. So there's never going to be a single price point which really excites everybody. And that's a little bit of a weird thing to say, because some people might say, well, if it was $1,000 an ounce silver, Backyard Bullion, surely that would make you happy and ecstatic because the silver that you own would be worth quite a lot of money. Well, yes, that is very true, and I would probably be quite happy, but not for the reasons maybe you think. Because silver at $1,000 an ounce, whilst potentially very unlikely to happen in my opinion, and we'll maybe talk about that later in the video. I genuinely can't see that kind of price point ever happening. But if it did happen, I would be happy that I would be protected, because the silver that I have would be that insurance policy against what I would imagine will have happened, a complete collapse in either the dollar or the pound, which would have a huge, I mean, we're talking monumentally huge impact on fiat currencies around the world. And it's most likely that a lot of the different investments that I would have been holding that aren't gold or silver would have completely collapsed. Stocks and shares, pension funds that are not in sort of cash assets or physical assets. Housing prices would go down as well. There's just going to be a huge pile of brown stuff to deal with in those situations. And whilst, yes, I'd be happy to some degree that part of our wealth in the Backyard Bullion household would be preserved in the form of silver and gold, ultimately, I would not want to see those type of situations. The price point that we're seeing right now of silver, it's a very affordable metal to buy. There's no doubting that. Should it be higher value? Arguably, there are reasons to say that it should be. The gold-silver ratio is an interesting one at the moment. It's either gold being very overvalued or silver being very undervalued. Should gold and silver be a little bit more in terms of parity of price point? Perhaps, maybe, but who knows, to be honest. The world is a very odd and strange place that evolves and changes on a weekly basis, it seems, sometimes even a daily basis sometimes. So there's a whole host of different things to consider in that side of things. So the first point here is, if silver got to those really high-end levels, would I be happy? Probably not, I have to say. Now, there's another reason for that as well, and this is probably one of the biggest reasons that a lot of stackers out there are not happy with increasing prices of gold and silver, is that the silver and gold that they're buying is not necessarily ever meant to be sold. Now, there are a lot of stackers out there that will want to hold their silver for future generations, or even 40, 50 years time for their pension and retirement. I know for us in the Backyard Bullion household, a lot of the silver and gold that we buy is that hedge against inflation. It's wealth preservation for the future. And if prices go up, it means that you get less silver and gold for your money, which is of course a really Interesting topic, and when I did a topic on last couple of weeks, which was all about front loading. And if you are buying for the long term, if you are buying your gold and silver for 10, 20, 30 years time, should you front load it and buy it all up front so that you are protecting yourself from these price fluctuations over time? There's definitely an argument to be had about that, and you just put all your eggs in that one basket at that price point and then you go from there. So that's definitely something to factor in, I suppose, but ultimately, a lot of people out there can't necessarily do that because you'll have monthly budgets, quarterly budgets, annual budgets for your precious metals, and, putting 10 years worth of those budgets in one go is really very risky, especially if you don't have that kind of safety net, which is really, really important. So as prices go up, you see people get a little bit frustrated. Now, the oxymoron there is when I say I get annoyed when silver and gold prices go up, is that you love to see them go up because it means that the value of your assets are increasing. Now, some of you out there might be thinking, you might be new to silver and gold, and you might be looking at this and thinking, well, do you know, silver and gold prices going up surely isn't a bad thing because that means that the value of your assets are going up. Well, yes, that's very true. And in this last calendar year, in the last 12 months, we've seen silver and gold go up quite considerably. And I did another video on this a couple of months ago about some of the gold coins which I bought this time last year when gold spot price was around the 950 in pounds. I can't remember the dollar amount. You'll have to excuse my ignorance there. But, it was about £950 an ounce in gold prices, and it then moved up to £1,250 an ounce. So that's £300 an ounce in gold profit. And you look at that and you think that is absolutely fantastic. The absolute huge boon that has been achieved there from your gold stack is fantastic, but it means absolutely nothing unless you actually sell your silver and gold. And again, with all of the different people out there and the different types of stackers, I very much fall into that category of I'm not looking to sell my gold and silver in the short term for a profit. Now, there are a number of different coins out there that you can sell in the short term for a profit, which I do, the more collectible numismatics or the items which yield premiums. This is maybe one of those in the future. The Queen's Beast series is very, very popular. I'm not sure that the later issues of the series, like the White Lion of Mortimer here, I think it's number 8, will yield any huge potential returns, but you see the 1 ounce gold griffins and the 1 ounce gold lions, and to a certain extent the dragons now, all having quite high premiums on them. And those are the kind of coins that I would look to sell at some point in the shorter term to then add more bullion grade weight like these buffaloes here. And you'll notice that there are certain coins which I'm quite happy to handle with my bare hands. This one is just one of these generic gold bullion coins that I'm quite happy to have and hold and feel and not worry too much about the condition. The same can be said for these American, I've said American, I did this in an earlier take, I call them American Eagles. It's because I'm seeing AOE and I'm seeing that as American Eagles for some reason. These Nui Owls, that's what they're called. They're just bullion grade melters. They are one of the cheapest silver coins that you can buy out there at the moment, and I'm really not too bothered about the condition of them or whatever. They just represent a weight of silver. These little dragon bars here, to a certain extent, I've made a little bit of boo-boo with these. These have been rattling and rolling around my kind of stock box and not being looked after in as good a condition as they could have done. So they've already got fingerprints and scuff marks and things on them, so they're not perfect. So, ultimately, I'm not too bothered about that. Yes, there's a little bit of potential premium loss there, but ultimately it doesn't make a difference. And that's the most important thing. You've got to stack in a way that works for you and makes you happy. So for us here in the Backyard Bullion household, we have two little outlooks on the way that we stack. If we've got stuff that is going to be just generic bullion, we're going to hang on to it for a long time, and we're not too bothered about the prices. Yes, the prices make us happy and sad in certain ways, of course, if the prices go up. And for example, with the Queen's Beast series, this time last year, the brand new Queen's Beast series maybe cost you £1,000 if you bought them from a dealer. But now the brand new ones were around £1,250, £1,230 or £1,300 depending on when you bought them. So there's definitely, a significant change in the price points there. Maybe a little lower now because the price of gold has dropped down a little bit over time. But ultimately, I'm not too bothered about these kind of things. If I'm going to be buying gold and silver steadily over the next 20, 30 years, there will come a point where silver and gold prices will have gone up and you will be buying at different price points. So it's really, to each their own, I guess, is the summary of this argument. And one thing I want to kind of finish on here is, you don't release any profits or losses in things unless you sell them. So if there are any stackers out there, and I do see this quite a lot, there's a lot of negativity towards silver, especially silver, but more so as well more so silver, but also gold is what I'm trying to say. That it's just too stagnant, it's just too static, that prices don't go up. If you are in this for the long haul, don't be disheartened by higher prices. That's a good thing generally, but bear in mind that it will cost you more to purchase your silver and gold over that period of time if you are buying progressively. And also don't get disheartened if gold and silver prices go down. I've been talking with a lot of different dealers over this last couple of years, really interesting, insightful conversations. And, arguably a dealer is more susceptible to the price changes of gold and silver. They might buy stock from the Perth Mint, from the Royal Mint, wherever it might be, in 1 month, and then the next month, all of that stock has gone down in value, more so than their profit margin when they sell it. And they have to move with the market, and they will then lose money. But you look at it, they look at it like this, and it's a really interesting thing. This is what one of the big dealers out there told me. He said, when you get a situation when those prices go down and down and down, that's a really great buying opportunity, and you just replace like for like on the ounces that you sell. And yes, there are cash flow issues and things to think about from that perspective, but if you've got a sensible business plan and model, and you are on top of your cash flow, then you can really take advantage of those lower price points within the market. And that's where I want to finish this video, which is all about price points and cash flow and responsibility. Buying silver is a responsibility to yourself. Buying gold is a responsibility to yourself. You are the one that is taking responsibility for looking after your investment, for managing your investment, for taking responsibility of how much you spend on your investments. And nobody else can tell you what that is. If you invest in the stock market and you invest in a specific stock, yes, there's an argument there that you're responsible for when you buy and sell that stock, but ultimately the stock is handled by somebody else, and they look to what decisions need to be made for that company, and then the yielded returns come back to those investors. But for gold and silver, you are the one that's primarily responsible. It is that liability on you, and that is something that everybody needs to factor in about what they have to expect from their gold and silver. And the responsible thing to do is to basically budget, to plan, to have expectations of exit strategies, and to have expectations of what price points would make you want to sell, to release those pounds, pennies, pence, dollars and cents that you have locked up in your gold and silver. And that's where I want to finish this video. So thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, it would be amazing for you to hit the like button. Even if you don't necessarily agree with some of the things that we've talked about here, if you enjoyed the style of our presentation, our thought-provoking Wednesday videos are amongst some of our most popular, and it's really good to hear from both sides of arguments. So please feel free to hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Even if you didn't enjoy my opinion on it, I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comment section. It's one of the reasons why I make these videos, because we get some really interesting, thought-provoking discussions evolving down in the comment section. So feel free to comment down below. All I ask, as I said at the beginning of the video, is that you be respectful of mine and other people's opinions. Otherwise, that is it from me today. Thank you one and all for watching. If you enjoyed our content and want to support our channel, I would ask please that you consider looking at our hand-poured silver. There's a link down in the description below to our website. Please don't feel like you have to support our channel. We are very capable at looking after ourselves in the Backyard Bullion household. As I've mentioned in this video, budgeting, cash flow management is really important. But if you want to support the channel, you can do so by buying our hand-poured silver. Otherwise, that's all. Thank you one and all for watching. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. And as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.